Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the August 2025 Patreon Hangout. Only 2.25 hours late. Holy cow. Do I look like the most tired person in the world? Holy shit. To explain for anybody who's watching the VOD and has no idea what the fuck I'm talking about, I've been interviewing for a job over the past 2, maybe 3 weeks. Uh, and if you don't work in tech, you may not understand what that means exactly. Tech has an entirely its own like beast version of interviewing. For a comparison, I have we Sarah and I both we have two friends who work in like biochem essentially, and when you get a job at a lab, they basically do like resume references. You'll have like a phone call or maybe like a Zoom chat kind of thing. And if everything clears, come on in, grab a lab coat, get to it. Uh, on the flip side, oh god damn it! Give me 1 second. The garage door is not closing. Anyway, you work in biochem, and you can apparently monitors even in screen. That's great. Uh, you just kind of get in there, you get started working, and Sarah asked them at one point, "Is like, is that normal? What happened? How do they know that you know what you're actually doing?" And it's like, and there's like, "Oh, if you don't know what you're doing, they'll notice very quickly." It's like, "Oh, okay." Comparatively, the reason this is so alien to Sarah and I, when you work in tech, a fairly average interview process involves a screener call, usually with a recruiter or someone either who is specifically like a recruiting person with the company that you're applying for, or a recruiter that has been like kind of interfaced with like a recruiting service, like like Ronstadt or something. Um, then after that, you'll probably have possibly a week later, under certain circumstances, you'll have another call with a hiring manager, and this will usually be the first screener call is usually just kind of a like a sort of a temperature check, like they're just kind of making sure that you're not like a fucking psychopath. The hiring manager will be a little more advanced than that, a little bit. They'll get into like your work background. If they're a particularly technical person themselves, they might ask about like tech stack that you've worked with before. They'll try to get a thorough read on your work history so that they can see how well it applies to what they're looking for. And they'll just do kind of like basic stuff like that. Possibly up to a week later after that, you start getting into the more varied versions of the interviews. They will usually involve a set of, I'd say, 3 things that happen in a semi-random order. There will usually be a video call with either the direct manager or person above you that you'd be working for, or maybe even like a CTO if it's a smaller company. So you'll have an interview with a very technical person, usually someone you're going to work with directly. There'll be a code test of some kind, and this could be either a set of challenging questions that you have to do on your own for a while, like a couple days or maybe a week, or the more hellish version is they'll have you pull up like codepen.io, and you will wind up sitting there doing code live while they watch, so they can see your entire process, usually with Facecam on. Which I feel bad for the folks who have to sit in on that too, because nowadays you have to keep it like they do different screen recording things so that they can be sure that you're not like going over to ChatGPT or Claude AI or something to get answers. And then there will usually be, if you haven't already at this point done it, there will be like a team meeting kind of thing. You might even have like a set of interviews on the same day. So we're now at least 5 different steps. All of these, the first 2 might be like half-hour meetings. Everything else is guaranteed to be at least an hour. If you're very, very lucky, you can get all but the first one of these done in one long day. Some places prefer to just streamline the process and get you in, get you out. Other places, each of these steps could take a few days to a week in between. And that's not even including the time the code test takes. So, like, one job application from start to finish could take you, like, almost 2 months, depending on the speed that they're moving at. So it's a complicated situation there. It sucks when you're on unemployment as someone in tech as well, because I don't know how it works in other states, but in Massachusetts, if you want to get unemployment benefits, which only last for about 6 months for what it's worth, you have to apply to at least, so you have to make at least 3 what are referred to as like job search inquiries, not necessarily job applications, usually job applications. But it can also be using, like, if you use their database of stuff to look up, market averages for your job type or something, those would count. But I think they kind of keep an eye out a little bit for if somebody's just doing a bunch of those all the time. But so if you're filling out 3 of these a week, and if you happen to be a good enough, or your resume, I guess, is impressive enough that people want to talk to you more, you could literally have dozens of companies that you're actively talking to at a time because of how long the process takes. It's a real pain in the ass. This one that I'm applying for what it's worth, I think I've mentioned this before, and it's still fucking true. I have applied to a whole shitload of jobs. Easily, I would say at this point, probably 350, somewhere around there, over the past 2 years. And I have heard back from exactly 0 of them. Of the places that I have initiated contact by sending a resume or filling out an application online, I have heard back from exactly 0 of the places that I've reached out to, which is fucking nuts. And I thought something was seriously, horribly wrong with me or my resume or something, until a recent pool party where a bunch of us suddenly realized that none of us had heard back from anybody in any of the jobs we were trying to get a hold of for months and months and months. It's actual hell out here in tech world. So I started interviewing with a place. I don't want to get too into details about specifics or whatever, but a place every like 3-ish months someone reaches out to me, and I'll chat them up, and usually I get to literally the last stage of the interview every single time, and it's driving me nuts. I've got a good feeling about this one if I can nail the stages that are left, but it is a company that does, it's referred to as like headless CMS, content management system. So WordPress, for example, is a CMS. The idea is it's essentially a combination of a user interface for a database that makes it really easy for random people to use. And usually it also essentially like builds a web page for you from that data, usually for blogs, not necessarily, but blogs are definitely like the number one use case for that. So WordPress was kind of the classic for I don't know, the better part of a decade, and then a bunch of others started showing up. This is, so a headless CMS, what that means is that second part is removed. So now all it does is hang on to data, and you have an API that you can hit to get the data for a given post or a given feed, what have you, and then you can fully control that data yourself. The reason this kind of came into vogue is generally because people want to be able to control how their shit looks and operates without WordPress or whoever sticking their nose in it first and going, yeah, here's the data we've decided to give to you. Headless CMSs are like, I don't know, man, I'm a database. What do you want? And you can just take it. So the role that I'm interviewing for is not actually an engineering position. Not really. I've done web development for almost 13 years now. I guess technically it's been 11 or 12 as an actual engineer myself, but I started TAing and then teaching with John actually about 13 years ago. But this job would not really be engineering itself exactly. There would be instances where I probably would help out with that, but essentially my job would, if they have me, my job would be a little bit of everything, in the sense that it's a little more community driven. It's a little more social media driven. I may go to conferences. I may actually give talks depending on how this goes, and what they want from me. It's wild because I've never done anything quite like that in a professional career sense before. And also this is a senior role of which there are currently only 2 other people at the company who do this. And this is an international company. I think one person that is in this role is based somewhere out of Europe. I think maybe Austria or Spain. And one other person is based out of Chicago. And then there would be me if I get this. So that's been a lot. It's been stressful. I've been neurotic about it. I kind of go 2 directions at once when the shit really hits the fan stress-wise with like a big sort of scenario like this. One, I definitely panic a bit and kind of freeze up, essentially. Not in the sense like literally, but I just kind of like, I just go like, I just need to like walk away for a minute. I just got to like do something else for a second so my brain can like cool down in the fight or flight response. The other one is to just go hard, like just dive in like crazy and do what I can. And there's been a lot of moments over the past week or so where that's been the case for me. I got a code test. Technically I got it Thursday morning, but I was actually feeling pretty sick going into Thursday and Friday, so I didn't wind up kind of beginning until Friday. And it was a 1-week take-home thing, build a blog using the headless CMS, but also build a PowerPoint-style presentation to explain the process, sort of as, I think the idea is that it's sort of as if you are presenting how to do this in an open setting, as well as answering some like community-driven questions, deploying to multiple environments so that you have like a draft version and a published version, all sorts of bits and pieces all smashed together. And there's just been a lot. I've spent a lot of time rereading the PDF that they sent me, in order to be like 1,000,000,000% sure that I haven't like tripped on my own feet and fallen into a well. So I've sent that in. That happened today. That happened at like 6:30 today. I finally got the last bits of it taken care of. I sent it in. Next steps on that are going to be after 1 to 3 days. So I have no idea when this is happening. Sometime next week, presumably. We're assuming I haven't made a horrible ass of myself. We're going to essentially set up a meeting. I don't know if it's going to be with one person or with a bunch of people, but I'm essentially going to do the presentation live. There was an option to pre-record it, and I did debate doing that. But on the one hand, I don't know. I feel like it would be better practice for me to do it live. just in general, just getting more comfortable into that zone. And also, I just don't think I would have had time. I really didn't have time to, like, if I was at the point I was at today yesterday, I probably could have wrapped it up, been good, and been like, okay, Friday I'm going to sit down, I'm going to record this, and then I'm going to do some editing and yada yada. The D-pad was actually a very useful part of the interview process so far. We've been at this for 14 and a half years. There's been social media, there's been content creation, there's been live radio, like there's been lots and lots of bits and pieces that applied very well. The manager who would be above me actually wound up taking a peek while we were interviewing because I had mentioned it. It was like, oh, you play Zelda. I'm like, yeah. We do a bunch of Zelda. We do a bunch of stuff. It's like, oh my god, you play Sonic too. And we kind of wandered off into just chatting about. In particular, the subject was how annoying it is with modern games that tutorials last so long, usually. Which yeah, I would say I would agree with. But yeah, so that's where that's been. I feel like someone has stuck an ice pick right under the back of, where like your skull isn't anymore and your neck kind of starts. It's like right wedged up in there. I have been sleeping horrendously this past week. Not helped by the fact that I slept badly leading up to the lake vacation, and then I slept badly at the lake vacation, and then I was busy in between that and the camping trip to try to get content moving again, so I didn't sleep well. And then we were out doing festival camping stuff, so sleep is bad. That I have had pretty bad sleep for probably the last I've had bad sleep for a very long time, but in particular, I think the last 6 weeks have been especially horrific sleep. So I'm trying to catch up on that a little bit. We will see how that goes tonight. But, so yeah, so it's been a bit of a busy time. Yeah. So apologies that there's been fewer videos, especially this week. I was trying to do what I could, but I realized that I just needed more time to work on the interview stuff, so I just kind of had to put it by the wayside. The hardest part of this interview is now behind me in terms of work volume. So we should be getting stuff moving again. I mean, literally tomorrow. I've got the next Zelda, the next Ocarina randomizer video should be going up tomorrow, and maybe Echoes of Wisdom also. I'm trying to figure what the hell. We have more videos of that, but it's now the whole schedule is just kind of scrambled right now, so I'm just going to kind of get it back on its feet over the next couple days. I didn't mean to take the week off from Bonanza either, but it just kind of wound up going that way. Also, holy shit, I hope I get the job for a number of reasons, not the least of which is, so now that every console is doing 4K video, anything new that we play takes up 4 times as much space as it used to. So Daddy needs some new external hard drives. So that's going to be a fun time. But that is a problem for September, Rick, not August, Rick. Back here in August, we're doing Ducky. Is it not making new posts with it? No, and I agree. I'm very sorry about that. I have been trying to be better about it, but the stuff has been piling up pretty badly. Like I said in the Discord, I think I put it in there. I want to get the next poll up this weekend for next month's community hangout. I need a new name for that thing. And then at least a week before we can have the actual post to give people the official times for that. I am very sorry about that. I dropped the ball big time, especially just this week in particular. So I do feel bad about everything getting this scrambled. But yes. I lost my train of thought. Shit. No, I mentioned the community night bit thing as well. Yeah, no, that is going to go up in the next like day or two thing. Um, channel the Discord. That is actually not a bad idea. I was originally debating doing just that, and I was a little worried that it was just going to make a very bloated chunk of the Discord, but that can still be a thing. That can be fine. Um, yeah, so one thing that's very annoying to me, and I need to look more into this, aside from the fact that Patreon as a platform has just been very irritating lately, and they keep trying to push new AI shit, which is fucking aggravating itself. They don't seem to have, and I'll have to double check on this. They don't seem to have any way to like do font colored stuff for links, because I guess they really like their minimalist design, but it really does fucking make links like buried, and I don't like that. It looks sharp and slick, but it's not helpful, you know. But yeah, I think I can also make a point too of doing a maybe I can have at the bottom of any post that have links in them. Maybe I'll just have like a literal bulleted set of whatever links were in there, just to make it like impossible to miss. Because it does, you know, it's literally just bold and underlined otherwise, which is not very helpful a lot of the time. So yeah, I can definitely understand. Literally, I also got it wrong when I went to go to go double check that post was the correct one to give to people in the Patreon Discord. I literally clicked on the one from last month instead, and I was like, wait, no, hang on, that's not right. It's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, maybe we'll try doing a brother band channel in there. It should be easy enough. On Patreon you can give tier specific user user roles, and then we can use that as the entry into that channel. I think that'll be pretty good. Yeah, and honestly, maybe let me actually double check something real quick. I guess it can stay in the secret clubhouse. I was gonna say like, should I just make a separate Patreon like cluster in there? But honestly, it's not too bad. Actually, for some of you guys, you'll literally only have one channel in there. I have 4 and a voice chat. Though to be honest, yeah. There's a channel called Majora Chat that I was using, Majora Chat and Majora Voice, which were designed to be used for the Majora's Marathon stuff, and I don't think anybody joined the Majora Voice channel. And while there were emote responses in Majora Chat, nobody but Sarah and I actually used it. I can probably delete it at this point anyway, because the only thing that's in there is one of the pictures of it's the picture of the first set of 12 cupcakes, which Sarah still has on her phone. I think we posted anywhere elsewhere anyway. But yeah, Pitch actually has their own separate server that I'm not even allowed into. It's ridiculous. I don't even know how to do it. I don't have fingers. It's ridiculous. Secret Clubhouse, yeah. Secret Clubhouse has 4.5. It's also where the moderatorium lives. So Discord mods have access there, and then there's just a D-pad room that is just for D-pad members essentially. I'm going to switch D-pad Patreon to the doesn't make the actual there's no update. That is true. Yep. Posting the Discord could work too. And yeah, and I think that just to the rule of thumb, and ironically with all the talk of work stuff, the rule of thumb when it comes to web design is to make it so that nobody has to think at all. You should be designing stuff in a way where nobody that you don't have to actually sit there and go, how do I do that? It should just be obvious, right? So the more the links can be around, the more the stuff can be out there, then the better that'll be. I might actually do that later. Oh, this is the other big thing for tonight. I was gonna say maybe I will do a bunch of this stuff tonight at some point, and you might be thinking, but that's crazy because we're doing Shadowthon tonight, which is true. We are actually going back and getting the S ranks on Shadow Generations. I actually wound up peeking at how S ranks are done in Radical Highway, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. So I feel good about that. The bosses, it's just a matter of being patient and waiting for a good run. It'll probably be a moderately short stream. Moderately. I am going to let the cat out of the bag on this one, which I feel very stupid. Because I had an idea that was similar to this, and then I changed it, and then I didn't do enough research, and also I should have much sooner checked on our own history for something. So as an apology for it dragging out so long, there will be a trailer for this now because there's going to be time, but I as the special stage portion for Shadowthon, we are in fact going to be playing Expert Mode Shadow the Hedgehog, which I've never done before. I'm actually extremely excited to try it out. I don't know what I thought Expert Mode was, but it wasn't that. And I was, as soon as I was reading about it, I'm like, oh, this sounds awesome. We'll have to do this instead. I was going to do something different. I like this much better. Problem one is I've been trying to get the PlayStation 2 version of the game to work on any of the devices that it's feasibly compatible with. We have a PS3 that is not PS2 compatible. That was fun to spend forever figuring all that shit out. The other PS3 that is Sarah's is compatible, but it had no data at all. And I was like, okay. And then we have two PS2s. Half of these were discoveries between yesterday and today. The two PS2s, both also, the PS2s don't have internal memory. The one PS2 memory card I could find also didn't have any game memory. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is happening here? And only today was I finally able to go and double check how the fuck we did Shadow the Hedgehog before, and we played it on the goddamn GameCube. I don't know how I couldn't find, because I looked for the GameCube copy of our GameCube copy of the game, and I couldn't find it, and I looked tonight and I found it. So we have it. Problem two, and this is my fault for not double checking this stuff before. I thought that Expert Mode unlocked once you beat the proper final Devil Doom boss of the game. That is not how it is unlocked. Expert Mode is unlocked in Shadow the Hedgehog when you A rank every mission of every stage. Not all 200, 300, whatever the fuck the number is of those, but for each stage you have 2 or 3 missions. Each of those needs to be an A rank in order to unlock it. It is currently up on the screen right now. I have 20 out of 71. Partly because for some of these levels, we just weren't even trying. We're just dicking around. When Jeff and I played this 6 years ago. But so that's going to be a thing I'm going to be cracking into over the weekend. And I should be good on that front, but I was very annoyed. I wanted that to be one. I wanted it to be a fun surprise, but I think it is worth just being open about what this one was meant to be and is going to be. And just irritated that it wasn't a simpler thing for me to. I tried really hard this year to take a complicated idea and make it as simple as I could. And I think for the most part, it actually kind of worked. It meant a lot of work between streams. But I don't know. I think it was an okay time getting that stuff done. And I'm excited to do Expert Mode. I'm excited to wrap that up too. And yeah, so I don't know. Last year got away from us big time. And I wanted to make really, really sure that shit didn't happen again. 13 missions you never completed at all, actually. Yeah, I'm looking right now, literally just by sheer chance, the stage that is on the screen right now. Actually, is there a normal for this? I don't know if there is. Because it's one of the stages that is up against the side. Yeah, I don't know if there's a. I don't know if there's normal. Yeah, I don't know if there's normal. There's not 3 for all of these. I think this one I did all of them for. But what stage even is that? Oh, that's the casino one. We never did the dark one for the casino. Interesting. And all the ones in the middle have like 3. So, but yeah, there's a bunch of missions we just never even did. So I'm gonna clear those out, get those all situated and stuff. And I don't know. I just feel silly. I feel embarrassed. It was something that I wanted to do much faster, for one, and do it a cleaner way. I feel bad the VODs haven't gone up yet, except I really would like them to actually go up in the order we did them. But also the first one we did was the Sonic Movie Marathon, which I would like to have attached to that as like a D-pad and chill, but it absolutely cannot go up like that, which means I essentially have to sit through the movies a second time, or at least skim around looking for my reactions to stuff, and then do what I can to chop that up into something that YouTube will actually allow me to put online. But also, I want to get back into putting uncut D-pad and chills onto the Patreon. I was hoping we'd be doing more Sonic Prime, but that's been kind of on the back burner again for 100 reasons. I think we're going to be pulling that out of retirement pretty soon. But I think I'm going to be putting essentially an uncut version of that first like movie marathon night on Patreon. The trick is I still have to do the audio editing for it. So again, I'm still basically sitting through 6 hours of movie in order to get that first thing up. So my hope, we'll see how well this goes. My hope. So what I'm currently doing is I'm releasing the Ocarina of Space-Time VODs. We have 7 more of those to go. You can just riff tracks it. I thought about that. If it gets, that was kind of the idea with the timer that was over on this. Oh, the monitor's in the way. That's why. But like the timer that was over on the right, the rough idea was that people could do that because we also technically streamed it on Twitch, but people had to watch the movie themselves to do it. It's definitely a possibility. I may do that as an emergency backup just in case. The problem is I fucked up during one of the movies and I forgot to actually hit the button. So I think for the third movie, we just don't have a timer going. So I don't have a great way. The best thing I could do is what I tried forever ago, back with the first episode of Sonic Prime, where I had the very start of the episode and it kind of faded back out. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have a live chat. It annoys me that XSplit doesn't give me a live chat option on this side, but oh, weird. I'm not even seeing it on the YouTube side either. That is strange. Unless there was, let's see. No, I see the same stuff on that side. That is very odd. But yeah, where it's just like it's got the video for a second, it kind of fades to black, and then it's like, okay, that's your syncing moment. So get that set up, and then you're good. So maybe that'll be a solution there. I don't know. Well, I'll have to figure it out. And then the rest of them can go up. The other ones are actually all good to go. They're very, very easy. 1-800-REASONS is a... Oh, God. There used to be a time where you could buy specific... I mean, I'm sure if you're a company, you still could, but you could buy specific numbers, especially for stuff that would spell stuff out. I don't know how available that is anymore, but... I suppose, I wonder how many active phone numbers there are in the U.S. right now. Like U.S. 10-digit phone numbers. Because, like, you ostensibly have 10 billion phone numbers out of that. However, not every area code is valid. And I don't know how many area codes there are in the U.S. And I wouldn't be even a little bit surprised if there are more phones than people, but regardless. Phone numbers, I guess, non-extension phone numbers. But yeah, so the plan is Ocarina of Space-Time is going up right now. There are 7 more, I think, streams to go. That isn't whole. I've got the next fucking 1.5 million 90-minute nails ready to go as well. I'm basically at this point I am in the middle of editing the Hexen intro, but we're not going to air that until Heretic Faith Renewed is done, which I think is happening this weekend. But those are gonna go up as well. But so Ocarina of Space-Time is going up right now. 7 more of those. When that is done, whatever the following Friday is, my plan is that Majora's Marathon will finally go live. The VOD. It's been an extremely complicated process, mostly because of the microphone fuck up on my part. We caught it halfway through the stream, but that's also 36 hours. I've been going through and cleaning up the audio anytime Sarah was down here because you cannot hear her otherwise. And if she was just kind of like dropping by and just saying hey for a quick second and then heading back upstairs, like that wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing. Like it'd be a bummer, but it wouldn't be like, oh fuck, we gotta, but like there were points where Sarah was like hanging out for like half an hour or so, and if I'm just having half a conversation and you're not hearing the other half of it at all, I think that's not good. So I've been working my way through that. I think, do I have, actually, let me check, because I have a list in here somewhere. Where is... Where the fuck is that file? Hang on a sec. There it is. Yeah, I have the first 9 hours are done. I want to say the very, very end of the stream is also... the very, very end of the first day of the stream is also done. So I forget if I've actually mentioned this before, how this is going to work. There's going to be 3 versions of Majora's Marathon that ultimately go online. The first version is going to be kind of what you would expect of this, which is going to be each of the 3 days as individual VODs with time that I am sleeping cut out of the video entirely. So what you're going to wind up with is a video that's probably about 16 hours long, a video that's probably about 12 hours long, and a video that is like 26 hours long. These are all doable thanks to funky ways to break YouTube, which is wonderful. So that's kind of its own thing. The second release that it's going to have, or I guess the third release, the final release that we'll have for this is one of these days. It will be going up onto D-Pad Unpaused. If I can get the video size down without sacrificing too much quality, then it'll go up as one colossal 72-hour, 73-hour video. I think it is more likely that because of all the stuff going on, it will have to be 3 separate 24, 25-hour videos. The second version, the weird one, I am going to be... Yeah, the first 9 hours are currently done. So I have to get through hours 9 to, I think, about 17, 16, something like that. And then I'll basically be good for the first one. And then day 2, much easier. And then day 3 is going to be breeze. But the second version of this that's going to go online, after the other 3 go online, there's going to be a separate cut that is the entire 3 days put together, but anytime we pull away from Majora's Mask for the Evoland games, that will be cut out as well. So the Evoland will be in there as I was honestly debating whether or not Evoland should also be isolated as its own thing, but I think it's getting so complicated at that point that like what is probably going to happen is like day 1, day 2 featuring Evoland, day 3 featuring Evoland 2. But yeah, the final video or the middle video, I guess, after the 3 separate ones go up is probably going to be, I think. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard Sarah saying something. I think it's the AC doing like weird grinding noises. That one's probably gonna be about, I think, 27 hours long. So there's a lot of versions of those. And then once that is done, I'm hoping that by the time that comes around, I will have gotten Shadowthon, that first video done, and we'll be able to post those too. I have a file called streams, just streams.txt, and it's essentially a big like list of here are the various stream VODs and which ones are still owed and which ones need to go up when and all that jazz. Brawl is still coming. It's going to be so silly. One of the reasons that it hasn't started happening yet is because I've been having trouble getting my hands on a very particular alcohol that I want to use for one of those drink videos. Though that was originally going to be in the first one. Now it's like the 7th. So it's more just a matter of just sitting down and organizing those a little bit. And then we'll be off to the races again. It's funny. I may actually have to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Huh. Yeah, actually, I didn't even put the last one in yet. Which was Monday, I think. Yeah, it was this past Monday, so that was the 25th. I was going to write this down before I forget about it. The next stream that we do, I think, is going to require a brawl fighter. Ironically, I think we'll have expended all of the melee fighters by the time we get there as themes for our drinks. So that'll be fun. I'm actually curious if there will be a point where I run out of fighters. It's probably going to happen between 3DS and Wii U. The odds of us not burning through like 50 plus more between those two games alone seems very low. I'm also trying to figure out what will be an entertaining way to do the ultimate streams, because an extremely large portion of that is going to be just spirit fights. So I don't know what's going to happen there. 3DS and Wii U will be a lot more like Melee and Brawl, but more Brawl even than Melee. But the ultimate one is going to be kind of strange. Let me actually pull up my list now that I've been yapping for a fucking hour. Almost. Like 45 minutes. They'll be different every time. That's true. That is true. That'll be good. Although in all 3 of the remaining games, there is at least one set of you must do this with every fighter task. So that's gonna be a fun time. Cool. All right. So now that I've been doing my thing for 45 minutes, the channel, there's been a lot going on. There's been not a lot going on and also a lot going on all at the same time, because it's also different whether a fighter. That's true. That's a good point. Ultimate, you have a different route for each of the 75, 76 fighters, whatever the number is. So that'll be cool. But there's been a bunch going on. Right off the top, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza. We finally started putting more videos out for that. We have another, I think 20-ish episodes in the can. Those will be starting up again on Monday. I didn't mean to skip this week, but stuff just got crazy. But we're actually further along. I'm saddened a little bit because I think we're further along than I realized, based off my assumptions of how many Bonandium gems there are in the game. I did find out how many there were just by random chance, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. It's been a great time. So far, I think I still like Odyssey better, only because it felt a tiny bit more structured. I like Donkey Kong Bonanza in terms of just you're going around just fucking blowing shit up, digging through everything. But it also does start to feel a little bit monotonous in some ways after a while. So I'm curious how that might shift as we keep moving. And we'll see kind of how that goes from there. Way like more of the first layer than I did. We have, I believe, literally the next episode has us drop down to the next layer. It is from a new session as well. But it's been enjoyable. I don't think I get the feeling that it's going to ultimately be a little shorter than Odyssey, which is fine. I'm completely fine with slightly shorter experiences, especially with so much on our plate, right? Mario Kart World, similarly, is actually getting kind of close to getting wrapped up. I haven't been on it for a couple of weeks just because I haven't been free enough to record for it, but and I also did the Matter of Time tournament this week over the last 2 days, and as expected, I got my ass fucking beat. It was a fun time, though. It was good to hang out. It was a nice chance to kind of catch my breath in some ways from everything that's been going on. And I evidently, I'm kind of hoping that there's another tournament of that at some point that I can get in on. And in the meantime, I actually do practice or look at course ghosts or look at world record runs. Because some of them I was just like, all right, I'm just going to do my best. Here we go. I'm 15 seconds behind everybody. I only lost by a single point. I know that in the stream itself, there was no score tally on the screen, but essentially first place for a given when there were 6 of us, first place got I guess we were planning on 7, so first place got 7 points, second got 6, then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One person had to drop out from night 1 and 2, and another person had to drop out from night 2, so it kind of changed the points. In the end, it was myself and Shellshock Prime kind of jockeying for position. I feel I'm annoyed with myself for not thinking about racing the course Ghost in day 1, because I would have at least had a good idea whether I was missing something obvious or taking a good time, etc. I used it on the second night, and I didn't lose. I think I only lost like 2, maybe 3 courses out of the whole thing for night 2. And you only were able to go back and retry courses from that night. So I couldn't go back to day 1 and fix that stuff. But yeah, I think we're getting close to wrapping up Mario Kart World in the sense that I've got 5 Grand Prix left to go. I did 2 of them during the tournament. That'll be in the VOD. I think that's actually going to go up this weekend. But the 5 Grand Prix that are left, I have probably like 9-ish courses to go and get question block panels in. Once I've gotten all of the question block panels, I am going to grab a tracker and update that with the Peach medallions and the P switches that I've hit so far, because those are scattered across the entire map and there's no way to know where any of them are, and there's not a lot that can be done with that. But I'll have a tracker between sessions. I'll update that. I'll basically just scan through the episodes, because that'll be the easiest way to do it. And then That way, when I come back for the next session after that, I will have a map that has everything on there. I'm sure you've been taking furious notes on what you've done so far. I've taken 0 notes. I am very lucky. I have made a point of not doing anything in this game off camera. Nothing. Not just because I don't want to, not just because I don't want to do something and not be able to have made it for, for YouTube in general, but also because I knew that I was eventually going to be going back and checking for the purpose of a tracker. And if anything was off camera, that was going to be a problem for trying to do that. So it is going to help. So that'll be very, very useful. I suspect that we'll be getting into tracker mode in I don't know, 3 weeks, maybe even a little less. At which point, once we have the tracker, it's just a matter of going and executing, right? And depending how far along we are, it could be another week or two, and then we're basically done. When that happens, I do want to figure out some meaningful way of trying to capture the last of the sticker collection. The trick there is some of that comes from collecting thousands of coins. Some of it comes from driving for hundreds of kilometers. I don't think we're going to max out any of those during the proper Let's Play, but I will have to figure out a good excuse for something there. Maybe that can be something that's going on in the background of another stream. Who knows? Or hell, maybe it'll be something that it can go on during the next Patreon hangout. We'll just have a little thing right down here. We'll hang out and we'll talk, and it'll just be kind of down in the corner, but I'll just be driving around doing that while we hang out or something. So that's where Mario Kart World is. I've enjoyed it quite a bit, more than I was expecting to. I'm not a person who gets excited for Mario Kart games. I like Mario Kart. I liked the original. I liked 64. I liked 8. Didn't really get into most of the ones in between. I had Mario Kart DS growing up, or in, I guess, college. And it was fine. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, fuck yeah, Mario Kart DS. It was kind of all right, it's Mario Kart on the DS. But I've actually quite enjoyed Mario Kart World. Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, no, not this stupid thing again. Why does it do this? Give me 1 second, sorry. I don't understand why this keeps happening. I forgot, actually, because I think it happened last month also. Come on, authenticate. There we go. It should at least be... There it is. Okay, cool. Nice. You have the Madness crew to encourage you, even if you were free roaming a lot. I certainly have it. Yeah, and that's the thing. If I wasn't trying to 100% it for YouTube, it is probably something I would pick up once in a while. I would need a tracker. There are games I have loved that I've still needed trackers for to keep me motivated to actually 100% them. Mario Kart World I like a lot. I think it's a clever open world twist on the Mario Kart formula with the free roam. I still definitely need a tracker to keep me. If there were no trackers at all, or if there weren't exhaustive lists available at the very least, I absolutely would be done the second we got the last question block panel, and we did the last Grand Prix. There would be exactly no reason for me to bother trying to hunt down every single fucking one of those in a map where it could be literally anywhere, Especially because the map doesn't tell you where you've previously found stuff, which would at least be kind of helpful. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why they do that. And that's the thing, yeah, if it turned out that once you've beaten all 8 Grand Prix and gotten the question block panels, now there's a map thing for P-switches. Once you get all the P-switches, now there's a map thing for Peach. But that'd be fine. It would feel a little bit stringing, it's stringing you along, but at least it would be something. And it would still be a decent addition, and it would kind of give you a little incentive to keep looking. I'd be fine with that, I think. But they don't do that. And it's come on, man. I don't know. That stuff drives me crazy. Finally, in the kind of semi-random Switch stuff is Mario RPG. We have finished Mario RPG for the Switch, including the post-game. I was sad to see it go. I definitely had a different idea of what the post-game was going to be than what it turned out to be. I don't know that I would say that I was like disappointed at all. I was hoping for more. I was very surprised that the post-game is functionally 6 souped up mini bosses where if you play them straight are definitely super boss level, but if you figure out their gimmick or otherwise can figure out a clever way of preventing them from doing what they want to do, then they're just hit point sponges essentially. Some of them aren't even that. Engine 023 Booster was like barely an actual fight. Any interaction with him at all stops him from building his train, including Thought Peak for some reason. I figured it would be like, oh, if you do damage to him, like that would make perfect sense. Thought Peak interrupting him seems strange to me. Postgame mostly consists of battles with people that are still canonically alive. Punchinello was below a giant. Yeah, Punchinello I assumed was dead. But then there's also definitely a few folks who are either definitely alive or suggested to be alive that aren't there. The ones that come to mind are the Hammer Brothers from the start of the game. It would have been cute if they came back in some form. Would have been cool if they had Smithy hammers, actually. Croco, who at least kind of makes sense that you don't fight him because he sort of helps you out at the end, even though the game barely acknowledges that. It's actually very funny to me that neither version of the game ever really gets into why Croco is just showing up and suddenly is like, hey, you want to buy something? It's about to get dangerous. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, man. I feel like there was a third... So there apparently is scrapped data in the original game that suggests that there was supposed to be a third fight with Croco. Don't know if it was going to be Bowser's Keep. Could have been anywhere. You really don't see him after Moleville until Nimbus Land. Maybe you would have fought him in Nimbus Land in the house. I don't know. Yeah, Valentina was maybe the biggest surprise to me because she seemed like a shoo-in for a rematch. At least Dodo. Like, I don't know. That was very odd. And also, yeah, I was honestly expecting a souped up Smithy fight, especially because the post game opens with Toad being like, "Whoa, were you having a dream about beating Smithy? Good thing you came back here first." The implication that goes along with that to me is like, "Oh man, the dream version of Smithy must have been way easier than the real version." I'm also a little surprised that there weren't souped up machine maids. I don't know that I've ever seen a game that does like powered up fights for like post game style material, but the powered up fights are none of the actual bosses of the game. The closest you could get is Jinx, who is an optional super mini boss during the game, or Culex, who is an optional super boss from the original game. Like all of the actual bosses, so Max / Clay Morton, Bowyer, the Axum Rangers, Exor. You could even make an argument for like Cloaker and Domino or Countdown, just because they get the... Actually, Countdown I think gets mini-boss music. I don't remember if Cloaker and Domino get mini-boss music, but nobody who gets the boss music gets a rematch in the game. If anything, too, I'm a little surprised they didn't give the souped up mini bosses the boss music. I guess technically the boss music is the theme of the Smithy Gang, so it doesn't like make sense. But the weapon fights, yeah, exactly, yeah. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed because it's not like I'm not like, oh, this game sucks or anything like that. I am a tiny bit let down. I wish that there was a bit more meat to chew on. I was surprised that we got through the entire post game in 7 episodes. I was expecting a little more than that. Already kind of rematches, but they are pretty easy. That's the thing. Yeah, it's generally, unless you get a special enemy variant, then the machine maids are decidedly easier to fight than the originals, you know? But I don't know. I wish that they followed through. They left the drill bit thing in the game. The drill bit conversation is still in the game, but they didn't turn drill bit into an actual fightable enemy. There's one that shows up to tell Smithy he's being too angry, but you don't fight it. That was there in the original too, but it's kind of like, oh, come on, man. That was such a shoe-in for like a thing. Womp, womp, womp. Usually Grana Machine made Claymore in the skin of 30 because that single. Yes. Yeah. I want to say that I used to hang out down there beating up bosses for a while when I used to play growing up too, because it just, they are experience like, magnets. And they're very, very fast. You can get through them extremely quickly. Especially for the fights with, Clay Morton, Bowyer, and Spiridovich, not Yaredovich, excuse me. You don't need to move, which is nice. That's true, yeah. I think same goes for Spiridovich, because he'll just drop directly on your head. Actually, all three of them have places you can go where you can just stand still, and they will they'll come to you. Because Bowyer is on a conveyor belt, and Spiridovich gets dropped down a hole onto that platform. But yeah, it just makes it super easy and automatic. So, but it was a good game. It was great. The music was great. The remixed Culex music was actually phenomenal. I hope, my new hope, now that we've gotten a remake of Mario RPG and Geno has gotten generally more recognition outside of that one time in Mario and Luigi, I kind of, if you let Machine Made Spiridovich live long enough, he splits into four. Yes. Yep. They used to do that back in the old days too. I wish, I hope that at some point Culex actually does turn up in some other game, some other Mario game, preferably an RPG. They could even make a little nod to the fact that it's not even the same universe, considering Paper Mario and Mario and Luigi have crossed over as objectively different worlds. Oh man, that was a thing that I recall. I recall interacting with some folks online at one point a few years back. Who, did you know that there is like what amounts to a Mario canon timeline like cult online? Like, there are some people who get really, really vicious in defense of the idea of a real unified canonical Mario timeline, which is very concerning. Cult in terms of there's a certain level of fanaticism to it that made me very uncomfortable when I encountered it. There was one person in particular who did a lot of talking among this circle of people. And one of their big things, one, there's a subreddit for it, and you will get banned if you even remotely suggest that there is not a unified Mario timeline. Even asking the wrong questions about it could get you banned. Just that, so they were very insistent that every event in every Mario game has happened, like as part of a canon, and events that happen in seemingly disconnected universes also all happened. It's just that the style of the game is different. So, like, they're of the opinion that Super Smash Brothers and Mario's Picross and Paper Mario Sticker Star are all part of a continuous timeline. Mario is missing. Yep. That one is actually probably one of the easier ones to slot in places. uh, they got very upset when I had asked how it is that Paper Mario games could exist within the normal Mario timeline, or those events could have occurred when, especially in the original Paper Mario, he literally folds himself in order to do things. And also, as the series goes on, it becomes much more fourth wall aware of the fact that everyone is made of paper. They were not a fan of that. Sorry, just Tonks in here and made a weird noise. Oh, she's like knocking stuff over. That's why. Climbing around behind a Guitar Hero guitar. The other one that got them very mad was kind of any mention. It was very new of a game at the time, and they were very upset about it. Literally that, yes, Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, which for about a billion different reasons essentially canonizes the fact that Mario and Luigi and Paper Mario are two completely separate worlds and two completely separate Marios. They were extremely insistent about the fact that no, Mario has experienced both of these. Don't know how that works. No clue how that is supposed to work. It was weird. Mario, literally Shigeru Miyamoto has said for decades now that he considers the Mario characters to essentially be actors in the video games that they are present in. And the video games that they are present in are essentially performances. Time travel, maybe. Time travel, I think, was part of their reason. It's not an excuse. Considering there's also Partners in Time, except Partners in Time is objectively a time travel story. Like, it's part of the narrative. And in this one, it's not. And also, like, there's little things like Bowser Jr., was it Paper Bowser Jr. doesn't even recognize Mario and Luigi Bowser. Like, they have an interaction that I think it makes it seem like Bowser Jr. literally doesn't recognize that it's a Bowser because of just how different everything is or something. There's a lot of stuff that Paper Jam kind of just puts a nail in that particular coffin, in my opinion. But I don't even know how I got off of this conversation. It was weird. It was very, very weird. Oh, because of Culex. I would love if Culex just turned up in a random other Mario game and he's just dimension hopping. And he's like, you, and Mario's like, I don't know. I have no idea who you are. I don't know what's going on here. Could be fun. I don't know. There was mention from the director of Mario RPG that it's kind of rekindled his hopes that maybe Mario RPG could get a sequel now that it's been brought back. I was thinking about it the other day, being like, hey, what kind of party would the game have for a sequel? Because, like, there's not necessarily a reason you couldn't bring back, I mean, really any, like, all five of them, but Gino, I could see as having moved on and been doing other things. I think there would be a riot if Peach and Bowser were removed from the cast, removed from the party for an RPG sequel. Mallow, it could be kind of interesting. I could see him as being a side character, but not a party member anymore, which would mean that we were now in need of a new spellcaster and a new, what would we even call Gino? I guess he's sort of like an augmenter. A lot of like he's a little bit of everything, I guess. He doesn't do healing, but really, that's not a huge thing there. But Gunner, I guess, right? Like he's they could play it up a little like Final Fantasy X, make it such that like you actually do have to. I was gonna say, yeah, make it so that like it matters if like what your style of attacking actually is. I think C Dude was the one who had mentioned, and it was literally at like the day I was thinking about it, was like Johnny would be a great party member as someone who's like probably late game, maybe even just a temporary party member, but that'd be great. I don't know. But I don't know. I hope that they do. I hope they do another one, and I do hope it is longer. I agree. Mario RPG is a very short game, especially for an RPG. Like you can absolutely get through Mario RPG in a sitting if you know what you're doing. And you're not like specifically trying to like 100% stuff or whatever. You could absolutely get through that in a sitting. I would like for a sequel to be longer than that. But yeah, so that's the kind of random Switch stuff that has been going. Beaten by the time, old writer's tool, introducing a new character. Oh, I hope there's new characters too. I was just kind of thinking through like, oh, it'd be kind of neat if there were returning cast members. I wouldn't mind seeing Jinx or Jagger again. But yeah, I suspect that if they do an RPG, there'll be new characters, and like in the party. Though I still think that Mario, Bowser, and Peach would be likely to stay in the party. I feel like it would almost be too silly not to have them in there, you know. Inexplicably, Starlo is there. Oh man. Yeah, it'd be kind of, I don't know. I'm curious where Paper Mario is going to go next, because it does feel like they're kind of like trying to figure out what people actually want for a new one. But other video things, Echoes of Wisdom. We've been playing Echoes of Wisdom again. Only got a couple of videos up, but we do have a week of stuff. Brothership is like a 50-hour game. Nice. I do want to play that at some point. I haven't yet, but I would like to. Did that just do? Okay, no, it didn't. All right. Yeah, Echoes of Wisdom. We're back into that. We've actually gotten through the next chapter of the game and are kind of moving on to the next one. Trying to get it back on its feet. We're trying not to let Bonanza completely steamroll it. And we do have a month of Bonanza videos still in the can. So we've got plenty of time to kind of go back and forth between those. Looking forward to getting Zelda stuff going again. No updates on Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I don't know if John's going to be coming by this weekend. We're going to kind of play that by ear a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to record any Insurgents this weekend for next week, but if John is not here this weekend or next weekend, I will record some for the week after that, because I do want Insurgents to get back on its feet as well. Also, when Shadowthon stuff goes up, once that is done, we will properly get Sonic moving again. Actually, we might, yeah. We'll do Sonic Riders Zero Gravity as soon as that happens. And I know that Sonic Racing Crossworld is coming out. We will handle that. We might do both at the same time and just overload on racing games. I don't know. But I'm tired of all of the delays as well as you guys are. So I would like to get back into doing Sonic stuff. Eternal Darkness. We have the rest of the game done. I've been having trouble getting those like edited and uploaded, but any new Sonic videos until the movie stuff gets edited. I don't know for sure. We might get those at least recorded before then. There's a lot of moving parts at this exact moment, and it's a matter of how many videos I'm going to be able to get up in a given day, especially with Eternal Darkness. We have the entire rest of the game recorded, and I do want to start getting those up. Mario Kart World, I would also like to wrap up to free us up as well. I'm going to see. This weekend may be a lot of like VOD prep and script writing stuff. So if I can get that stuff moving, then maybe we will get Sonic Riders going in the next like week or two, regardless of where the Shadowthon stuff is. But we'll see. I don't know. I can't promise anything on that just yet. Um, but I do want to get back into it. I feel bad because we recorded some of it ages ago, but then the recording fucked up and we had to take to it, and it just kind of threw us completely off. By this point, neither Peter or myself remember literally any of it, so it'll be a functionally completely fresh thing. But Star Force 3, when we get Jeff around again, we'll be able to record more of those. Kingdom Hearts, similar there. We are going to, I forget it actually. I'm trying to think if we talked about this since the last Hangout or what, but Kingdom Hearts, we do have a plan now for how we're going to handle the mobile stuff that remains. So we are going to be breaking up the Union Cross and Dark Road content based on when those were released in concert with the remaining games. I think off the top of my head, the way it's going to work is Union Cross Part 1, which is kind of like almost half of all of Union Cross. Anything that came out before Kingdom Hearts 3. Then Kingdom Hearts 3. Then Union Cross Part 2. Is it an immobile game? I would say when the mobile game was no longer a game, that made it an immobile game. When it became just a cinema mode. So Union Cross Part 1, Kingdom Hearts 3, Union Cross Part 2, Remind, the DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3, Union Cross Part 3, and I'm trying to remember if that's where Dark Road is going to start. I think it is. And then Melody of Memory, Union Cross Part 4, Dark Road Part 2. And then at that point, we will be completely caught up with Kingdom Hearts. Though there's been a lot of motion on the Kingdom Hearts side of things lately. It's not impossible we could hear something this year. I don't think they're going to drop it this year. I think we're absolutely going to... Well, I guess I don't know how long Kingdom Hearts 3 is. I was going to say, I think we're absolutely going to finish Kingdom Hearts 3 before they properly announce a release date for 4. 3, we could be at 3 for a long time. So I can't say that for sure. I suspect that we will be in a position when Kingdom Hearts 4 gets a release date that we will be able to finish Kingdom Hearts in time for Kingdom Hearts 4. That is my that is my lock of the week. That's my prediction as to how this is going to go down. Which is good in the sense that we'll be hopefully fully caught up in time to start the game brand new when it's brand new for everybody. We have the closest we will have ever been to experiencing a piece of Kingdom Hearts around the time it came out is going to be like, I don't know, watching / playing the last part of Dark Road 3 years after that ended or something. Maybe 4, I don't know. So Kingdom Hearts 4 being presumably very, very new when we get our hands on it is going to be a pretty wild departure from how we started by playing Kingdom Hearts 1 like 15 years after that came out. I'm excited though. It'll be good. And ironically, because of the nature of Kingdom Hearts, it's not like we can do the same thing that we've done with Zelda and Mega Man being like, oh, here's some side stuff we can also do. It's like, we did all that already. That's part of everything is a core title in Kingdom Hearts. And now there are no mobile games left. So like all of them are offline. I think they have to do it at some point. But, Disney Movie Marathon, I would actually be down for that. That'd be fun. That also does, however, mean we have to watch the entirety of the Hercules animated TV show. So, it's a bummer. And also, I think the Beauty and the Beast Christmas special or something. The World Ends with You would be actually a pretty solid one to pick up after that. We'll do all the like Disney video games that are specifically related to worlds that have been in here. We'll play Hercules for the PlayStation 1. Everybody loves that game. Everybody knows that game. I remember that game because they had it at my my orthodontist's office when I was in high school. They had one of those big McDonald's ass play place looking kiosks, and it had Hercules for the PS1. And that game played like dog shit. It was bad. It was very bad. The sauce got lost after the Super Nintendo. I don't know what happened. Where was I? Oh no. Oh, but yeah, no, it'll be interesting having a series that is properly just like that's it. It's done. Nothing else to do. Maybe in fucking 3 years or whatever, it's always Hercules. It's true. I like the original movie just fine. Almost everything else about Hercules drives me fucking nuts. I don't know why. Every time I hear that, my brain just like oozes out my ears. I think it's because part of it is because it's literally the same music in every single game. I'm trying to think if there's a single game in the Kingdom Hearts franchise that doesn't include Olympus Coliseum. Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and actually 2 might not. I'm trying to remember now. Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain of Memories do. 358 over 2 does. I will be honest, I don't remember if 2 did. Oh no, 2 did because you had the Hades Cup and all that stuff. So that's the original trilogy plus 358 over 2. So everything between 1 and 2. Birth by Sleep had it. A Fragmentary Passage did not have it, but that's also that game only had places that were related to the Princesses of Heart who had already been taken. Yeah, Auron, that's right. I believe Kingdom Hearts Key and Unchained Key had Hercules, had Olympus Coliseum. Kingdom Hearts Coded absolutely had Olympus Coliseum. Dream Drop Distance. Nope, Dream Drop Distance. Dream Drop Distance might not. It doesn't. Dream Drop Distance does not. It has 7 worlds, and Olympus Coliseum is not one of them. Let's see if I can remember them. Traverse Town. Prankster's Paradise, the Monstro one. There was Notre Dame. La Cité des Cloches. The World That Never Was at the end. It's Tron. The Grid. City of the Country of the Musketeers. Excuse me. Bigger than a city. What's the last one? The last one is oh my god. Fantasia. Symphony of Sorcery. No Olympus Coliseum and Dream Drop Distance. I think it might be the only game. The only full-sized game. Fragmentary Passage is kind of a special beast, but yeah, those are the only 2 that don't have Olympus Coliseum. Out of like 11 titles, 12, something like that. There's so many of them. But anyway. Yeah, it'll be interesting having a series we're just completely done and walking away from. Which it was the case for Kirby until I did the Nightmare streams. I guess I kind of started those right away now that I think about it. So there really wasn't much time at all between. But Zelda we've walked away from twice after completion and then come back for other stuff. But speaking of Kirby, the Starcrossed Worlds DLC dropped Last night, I think. No, yesterday. Yesterday morning, 2 nights ago. Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna be covering that. We're gonna be diving on into that. It's gonna happen this weekend, regardless of who's here, because I want to get in on it because I really liked Forgotten Land, and I'm excited to see the new stuff. It's not long at all. No, I was kind. That's fine, I suppose. I was kind of hoping, based off of the way that they were advertising it, that it was basically going to be a good solid chunk of the main game now, like crystallized and fucked up. Think Pokemon Black and White 2 to Pokemon Black and White, with that huge like winter storm situation going on there. Just a bunch of shit all crystallized. Ah, man. All right. Well, I have the original game, so it's only $20, but man, that's okay. That's okay. I'm a little bit bummed out by that, but I feel like it's easier to be less bummed out if you're a Kirby Air Ride fan because of Air Riders on the horizon. Only chose the most iconic levels to crystallize. All right. I don't know. That still just feels like kind of like, come on, guys. I'm sure they're already like neck deep in the next proper Kirby game anyway, but I don't know. The Forgotten Land is also the last completely new Kirby game that they had done. I guess Kirby Air Riders, right? I guess I keep thinking of that as more of a spin-off-y thing, which is technically true, but Kirby has never really delineated strongly between platforming and non-platforming titles. Because, yeah, Forgotten Land was the previous original game, and that was, what, like 3 years ago? Was it more? Might have been more. Oh, Star really thinks we made a number of levels that match with a star important number here. Oh. Oh, no. That's a worrying clue. Well, it'll still be nice. It'll still be fun. I guess if it's short, then it means it won't clog things up for very long. Is it not 5? Thank God. I was like, maybe it's 10. 10 would be at least a little better. Like as if, I mean, hell, it took 10 stars to draw the constellation in Kirby's Dream Course. Because they do a little bing, 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 bing. Levels felt longer than normal. I mean, that's good too. So, all right. I mean, probably be a good, like, I don't know, 2-ish weeks of entertainment, perhaps. 120 stars in Mario 64. That's true. Trying to think of other star-related numbers, but is it 7? The Legend of the 7 Stars. But regardless, I don't know. We're going to be getting into that this weekend. It should be a good time. I'm excited to see what they've got. Even if it's short, it'll still be nice to take a little detour. Yeah. I don't know if I have a lot else to get into at this exact moment. Streaming. Stream schedule obviously was very jam-packed with stuff. I'm probably going to be pulling back a little bit on the Mario Party side of things just to try to get stuff back on track. Mario Party. Metroid Prime starts on Wednesday. There'll be a trailer thing going up for that as well. That is going to... None of you who haven't played it didn't get the number right yet. Interesting. All right. My brain just stopped. Yeah, Metroid Prime. We're starting that on Wednesday. It's going to be a grand old time. I've been looking forward to it. I don't think there's anything non-life related that is going to interrupt that. I really want to make sure that we dig in deep. I was also six. I was also kind of debating for either Star of David or like 1 with 5 points, but yeah. So Metroid Prime starting on Wednesday. That'll be a really good time. I've played Metroid Prime 1 before. I have played no other Metroid Prime games. I played a demo for Metroid Prime 3 at a kiosk in a club in Worcester, Massachusetts, like legitimately almost 20 years ago. That's the only other Metroid Prime experience I've had. I am excited. I think the way that it's going to work is I'm going to do Metroid Prime Remastered for the Switch. I'm going to do I forget actually. I'm borrowing the other two Metroid Prime games from CJ, and I forget if he's giving me the trilogy, or I think he's got the GameCube version of 2 and the Wii version of 3, which seems like a decent spread. It gives us a nice like wide variety of stuff there. We caught up on the lore. Yes, yeah, being able to get all of that, especially all in one good stretch, will help a lot. If I played Dread and didn't know any of what was going on before and just dove in on that, I think it would have felt a lot less significant. I think in particular, the stuff relating to Adam, the stuff relating to the vaccine, I think that all kind of helped. Even just the Chozo bits and pieces that we got was good too. They were made back in Worcester, Mass, out of aluminum, bakelite, and glass. There we go. There's if you've never heard, there's a song called what is it called? Diner Love, I think. And it's a little like bluegrassy sort of cheery song. And there's it's literally just kind of a wistful song, partly about like diner cars and diners in general. And one of the bits that goes on during one of the verses is remembering just like the aesthetic of diners and diner cars. I believe the lyric is, they were made back in Worcester, Mass, of aluminum, bakelite, and glass. Just a little one of those. Because bakelite is that like thick, almost syrupy, semi-transparent plastic that was like everywhere in the 70s. I believe that is bakelite. That was a huge tangent, but yes, Metroid Prime on Wednesday. I do have one very exciting prospect on Monday, which is we are doing a game of Family Feud with Mario Party Madness. And that is not a Family Feud video game. We're going to literally be playing Family Feud. I'm on a team with Azran, I believe, 112, both of whom were on the... sorry, no, not Azran. Silverstone Condor and 112 are on a team with me, who are both part of the Switch, the like So Long Switch panel at PAX, as well as I believe Moonlit Maple, who just hosted the Mario Party or the Mario Kart World Tournament this week. So us four. I'm trying to remember who is on the other side. I think it's Shad, Shellshock, Epic Man, and Matt Big Fat, I think, are the other team. A bunch of other folks from Mario Party Madness were polled. I think 10 people were polled with 70 or 80 questions. We do not know who got polled. It has been intentionally kept anonymous. And it'll be interesting trying to figure stuff out based off of the general vibes of that server. There is one other... Actually, let me pull this up. I have a file for this as well. Yeah, we got that. There were two other Mario Party related things that are going. One really. One is that on the 8th of September, we're going to be taking a second stab at the Fortune Street game that we tried to have a couple weeks ago. That got like all glitchy and weird partway through. Probably be a short stream. I might actually even be able to stream Brawl afterwards, depending. I would like to, because I would like to keep that moving because we're so close. The other one is on the 26th of September. That is a Friday. It is part of the reason our September hangout is on October 3rd, as you see on the top right. The Friday before that, on the 26th, the folks that did so Shell Shock is organizing. So the folks who did the Mega Man X race a couple months back, we're going to do another one for Shell Shock's birthday. This time we're racing Sonic Mania. I don't know if Korshel or Mr. Ben have done a ton of Mania. Shell probably has, and if he hasn't, I'm sure they're probably practicing at least now and then. I'm feeling good about my odds on it, but it'll still be a good time to race them. I think Mr. Ben was also saying that he's got a friend who likes doing Sonic races who might be down to join sometime. So I might have some stiff competition at some point in the future. But those are the only two things that I am signed up for quite a while. There is one other thing in mid-October that's a Double Dash related thing that's been in the works for a couple months now. So I would feel very bad about backing up on that, but that's also going to be a Saturday thing, so that's not getting in the way of anything else. There is one other. I think we're still good for Digimon Night on the 19th. There is a chance we may have to move it depending on. So the freelance work that I've been doing that has slowly drifted into the realm of videography. I may be traveling that earlier that week. I think I'd be back in time. I think I'd be back before Friday. If something seems like it's going to change, I will let people know immediately once I know. But it seems like around the 15th is likely to be when they are good to go on their end of things for this video project. And it's in another state. We're going to be traveling a good 9-ish hours to get there. It's going to be kind of a long haul. It's probably going to mess up recording the weekend before, to be honest. I don't know if there's going to be videos for much of that week just because of that. It's going to depend if I can get stuff done ahead of time. But at the very least, the earlier part of that week, I am more than likely not going to be around, so obviously I won't be streaming, which means no Brawl that Monday, probably no Metroid that Wednesday, because the earliest that I would be getting home would be Wednesday night, the earliest, and if that is the case, then I will have been in the car for probably, or the train, or whatever, for a good 10 hours, Maybe still be in the depths of streaming Silksong, Digimon, Pokemon. Hell yeah, nice. Yeah, it's gonna be things are starting to clear up a little bit. I've actually got Nightmare and Superstar Ultra on my list of guesstimate dates for things. Before the 15th became not an option, I had it as a possibility of starting in October 13th, but is Time Stranger out soon? Oh, Digimon. Yes, right. That's a good question, actually. I assume that was directed to C-Dude, but now I'm curious too. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's coming up quick. Oh, man. Yeah. Also slightly hoping one of the other reasons I'm hoping that this job thing pans out is I know what I would like to do for this year's holiday thing, and it's going to take some preparation, not a huge amount. It's mostly just getting games, but I would like to do that on the earlier side so I can start recording earlier so that we don't wind up. Last year was kind of a miracle that the Ultimate Wii U went down the way it did, because we were literally recording sometimes the day the video went up in order to keep that moving as fast as it did. I would like to avoid that. It was the goal last year. I would like to succeed at it this year. But we'll see how that goes, I suppose. But yeah, streaming, Mondays are generally going to be Brawl after we get the last few things cleared out, and Wednesdays are generally going to be Metroid Prime. Not generally. Wednesdays are going to be Metroid Prime, unless I'm literally not home. And yeah. I think that's kind of all I had. I'm going to take a couple minutes, maybe have a quick snack, grab a fresh drink or what have you, and then I'm going to get set up for the last bit of Shadow Generations. We had 2 stages and 3 bosses, so we really don't have very much. Have a good night, nobody. Have a good one. And yeah, we'll wrap that thing up, and when we come back for the proper final thing for Shadowthon, it'll be Shadow the Hedgehog Expert Mode, which I'll probably be cracking away at over the weekend just to clear that out. There's like guides all over the place on how best to A rank stuff, so I don't think it'll be too bad. But all right, I am going to disappear. I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll get that started. So see you then. And also, if there's anybody watching the VOD, wrong side, patreon.com/GPATFM. You can hop in there and see what we got going on. Yeah. Bye-bye.